Welcome to Div Tech 101, aka Black Mentors. I discuss information technology, also known as IT. In today's episode, people, I want to specifically ask you the question: if you're in the IT space, are IT managers sabotaging your growth? This is going to be a very interesting topic today because I have actually been through this myself, and I want to outline some key points, some things that may be able to help you and overall, if you don't take anything out of this message, and that is to let no one in the IT space gauge how your career growth should go when you are trying to grow. That means let no one stand in your way. Don't let a C-level executive stand in your way. Don't let a VP stand in your way. Don't let an IT manager stand in your way. You have to craft your own path. IT has a variety of different sectors and different parts that you can tap into. And we want to definitely go into that specific thing on today's episode. So, when you ask the question, is your IT manager holding you back or IT manager sabotaging your growth and career? Whether the person that is managing you is an IT manager, they're a VP of IT, they are a chief information officer, they're a chief technology officer. It doesn't matter which one of those levels that they are on. You have to ask yourself that question because it's very important that you know in the field, in the IT space, and just in career growth overall, that there is continuous growth, there is continuous development, and career advancement for you. So, the aim that I want you to focus on in today's episode is for me to be able to provide you insights for practical tips to overcome that stagnation. So, one of the first things is the common reasons of career stagnation in the IT field. Well, there's a couple of things. There could be a lack of continuous learning. That means because technology has moved and you have to keep up with it, that means you cannot sit still. That means if you're in a role and you've been in that role for more than a year, you can't just stop there. You can't just allow the workplace to teach you IT. You have to get outside the box to learn IT. There was a comment in one of my videos that I done earlier this week, and there was a person that did not agree with that concept. However, people will oftentimes not agree with that concept when they are already in those type of positions, meaning they moved from a lower level position, they went to a higher position, so they may not agree with those concepts. But facts are still facts, and that's what I'm putting in today's episode. Some people are so stuck in their comfort zone because they are like staying in a familiar role that can also limit your growth as well, meaning that you don't want to get out the seat that you're in order to open up an opportunity for somebody else for you to move into a better opportunity on your own. Sometimes people may have the fear of failure because they should have a way to address the fear on taking on new challenges. They may be afraid to get certifications. They may be afraid of having more responsibilities, but the more responsibilities that you have in an IT job, the more pay that you most definitely should get. Those should be parallel to one another. Those should not be inverse relationships there. The limited exposure of technology and new technology can also be a key thing too. A lot of times what happens in organizations is when you're not staying updated on the latest tech, that can also hinder your career progress. You a lot of times will have technology that can be implemented in an organization, and then you may not be able to get a part of it or access to that in order to learn at the same time as what your colleagues would. So when that happens, they may have grown within that 6 months to a year. You are still stuck behind because you don't have access to that. And so you really have to keep your eyes open and understand what technologies that your company is using so that you can also move forward with that. And that is one of the first parts for the common reasons of career stagnation in IT. The second point is the role of management in career growth. And this one right here is most definitely one of the ones that can most definitely hinder your IT experience. So when you look at the role of management in career growth, you can also have unsupportive managers. Those unsupportive managers can talk about how they lack encouragement or recognition. A lot of employees have also talked about that. That can also impact their motivation and growth. When you have a manager who is just not necessarily caring about how you should grow, that's most definitely a problem because they're not going to pass the word on to people higher than them. Sad to say, but that actually happens. And I've had that actually happen before. The lack of opportunities, if the organization is too small, you should be able to discuss how some managers, like, they may not be able to provide enough opportunities for learning and development. Sometimes, a lot of times with smaller organizations, you may have to do one of many things. Larger organizations, you may have much more of a vertical approach. Smaller organizations, you have a more horizontal approach. But if you're not actually taking the initiative to step up to your manager and actually discuss what you actually want to do, if you don't hear back from that in a few weeks, or you get ignored with that, go to the person higher than them in the IT space. So if you have an IT manager, you may go to the IT director. If you have an IT director, you may go to the vice president of IT. If you can't get nothing out of vice president of IT, go to the C level executive, the chief information officer. If you can't get that, maybe you have a CTO, go there. If you can't get that, go to the CEO. If you can't get that at all, probably time to leave and find a new job, right? So that is most definitely one key thing is unsupportive managers. Now, micromanagement, when you have an over controlling manager, they can also stifle your growth too because they're so focused on getting work pushed out that they're not focusing on your particular growth in the IT space. That is most definitely a hurtful thing because what that feeds into is bias and favoritism. What that means is that that can also limit your opportunity for certain employees having their growth impacted because they may look a certain way, or they may have a cousin or relative that works in the organization that helps them move forward. And I've actually seen that happen numerous times. Now, the third point in there is basically taking charge of your own development. And this is something that you can do. You don't have to get approval to do this at all. You can do this on your own. There are so many IT platforms out there. Take a look at my channel. Look back on the videos where I showed you and went through some of the online platforms that you can use in the IT space to move your career to another level. You definitely have to set your goals. Your goals is going to be very important for short-term goals, whether it be 2 week, 3 week, a month, a quarter, half a year, or a year. But set those short-term and long-term career goals so you know and have a clear focus on what you want to get to in the IT space. Now, you want to seek feedback from people who actually are paying attention to your career, like your peers, and maybe your managers. But a lot of the times you have to learn things on your own in the IT space. If you're not given the access to things within the organization, you will have to pan out and start to do this on your own. Now, the third point that I want to make is was taking charge of your own development, and which I just went over that. But the fourth point is going to be networking and mentorship. You're going to have to build that professional network where you may be able to seek out like mentorship. You may have to join professional communities and organizations, but it's very important for you to tap into people who may work at higher levels in IT than you in the industry. So that way you have some people that you can talk to outside the organization who do not have any direct influence within the organization itself. So you may be able to go under the guidance of someone for them to help you with your career growth. They may be able to get you on at different career opportunities if your growth is stunning at the current company that you're at. One of the biggest things is joining some type of professional community. If you, of course, in this video being IT, you may be in a CompTIA community, you may be in a CCNA community or a Cisco community, but you want to join those particular type of platforms so that you can be able to attend those industry events that are taking place around the country. All this can be done outside of work simultaneously, even in the evening times, the night times, the morning times, before work, after work, during your lunch break, whatever that feels and best and most comfortable to you with your particular schedule. Now, one of the last points, point number 5, is practical steps to overcome stagnation. And that's going to be within your organization. You may want to take on new projects. You want to demonstrate more capability and taking the initiative to do things. You don't just want to just be sitting there waiting on somebody to feed you a ticket or waiting on somebody to feed you something to do in the tech space. You have to go out and get it on your own. You have to go out and hunt. You have to go out and get things on your own. Do not wait for somebody to feed you something in this space because you will most definitely fail. Now, aside from that, you got to have the soft skills. You got to be able to communicate not only to the people on your level, but also to leadership, different teamwork skills, and things of that nature. But You also want to consider a career change if it's not working out. So don't wait too long. Switching roles, even companies can sometimes provide new opportunities for you to be able to grow. But 100% always advocate for yourself. And that right there is when you're advocating for yourself, that means that you are putting your household before anybody else's. Keep in mind that anytime, just like with any other job, you can get fired from an IT job, you can move on to the next job. There is so many different opportunities that are out there, and you may have to seek career inspiration from people who that you may notice in your network who could help you in these particular spaces. And that's what I want you all to be able to do. Because I've been in situations before where I have asked for certain things, they didn't happen the way that I wanted to happen. But you know what, though, outside of work, I am much bigger than that. I have grown much bigger than that. I have a farther reach than that. I have so many different professional networks that I'm a part of, different people I've met in the IT industry. But you have to create your own path. Even all the certifications that I have gotten myself has been 100% for the career and self development of myself. It has never been just for the organization or work alone by itself. And the more and more IT people that we have thinking that way, the more opportunity opens up for people newly coming into IT to get into those entry level roles. Sometimes companies, especially in the IT space, IT is not a money producing department. So it's oftentimes a lot hard for you to be able to get into those new particular type of roles. Even when you may see your colleagues moving up or getting promoted into there, you have to also look at your skill set and say, okay, have I went and promoted myself? Have I went and actually skilled myself up while simultaneously working in this particular organization? And do they actually see the things that I'm doing? And if you don't see anything going on or moving in your career, then people, it may be that time for you to move on. So, overall, if you don't take anything out of this video today, I want you to make sure that in order for you to come over that stagnation in your IT career, you have to 100% invest in yourself and stay ahead of the curve. So, like, listen, and subscribe. Div Tech 101, aka Black Mantle. Look forward to bringing more content to you all soon.